Hello everybody, I've actually been wanting to do this video for a very long time because I'm interested, and I know a lot of you guys are because you've commented. I did actually want to make sure the car was proper finished before I did a what does it cost, you know, just in case anything bad happened. And last two videos, we started it and we drove the S13. So we fully forged it, and today I'm going to go over to everything, what it cost and the story, those stories behind this, because it has not been easy. It's actually been difficult, to be honest. But just before we get on the video, I want to put a special thank you to 4 companies, 4 people here who this wouldn't have been possible without, and I want to do this at the start of the video because I don't know how long everyone's going to be watching. I want to say huge thank you to Rusty Autos, people who built this car. Huge thank you to BD Performance in Wales. Huge thank you to you guys. Huge thank you to Modern Mini. And huge thank you to Neville Davey on Facebook. So without these 4 key people, without them it would have been impossible, and some it would have been a lot more difficult. So thank you to all you guys. There were links on screen there. You guys are amazing, thank you so much. So let's get in with the S13. So I suppose with a good story, we got to start from the start. So there was an S13 that popped up online, and it had a head gasket issue. The guy had already took half the engine apart but not completed it. Red flag straight away. But it was cheap enough to maybe go and have a look and see if there was a potential deal. So we got there, and you know, the guy was believable. He had a Jaguar token, he was a tech at Jaguar, had a load of cars dotted around. He says it's a head gasket. I've started it and I just genuinely don't have time. And he had the parts, he had all the head gaskets, had everything. And it was believable, really. It was actually believable. So I did say to him, I can't pay you a price for a running car when you have no proof of it running, no compression tests, no videos of it running, nothing. I was like, I can't buy it for the price of a running car that you want. And I offered him a good price. I'm not going to tell you how much it costs, because if I ever do come to sell this car, it could be a negative effect. So I got it for a decent enough deal. So we got it home, and I took the head off. Long story short, I took the head off, and something had dropped in cylinder number 4. I assume the bottom of a spark plug, and it's just battered cylinder number 4 to the point where the engine was scrapped. At this point, I called a few people in the motorsport world who I knew, Simon Norton, Rusty, some other people, and they said, yeah, the engine's knackered. So at this point, I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And we had 3 things we're going to do. We're either going to forge the CA, put an RB in there, or put an SR in there. We wanted to stick with this CA because most people don't do that, and it does have a bad reputation, but a lot of Nissan guys I've spoke to, the CA is a great engine. It just gets bad reputation being unreliable because of some issues it has. And if you forge it, you will wipe out those issues. So at this point, we're thinking, what we're going to do? I was like, well, we could either buy an RB or we could buy an SR. If we buy them secondhand, we could come into another issue of something being broke, and we would be back at square one. We actually looked down the route of forging the CA. So we looked and got a rough price for parts and how long it's going to be. And a website, which I'm not going to name, said that they had availability of 1 to 2 weeks, and they said they had everything. Sorry, I'll be getting into all the parts. I just want to let you know, let you into the story. So at this point, we stripped the whole CA down, and we had set on we was going to forge the CA. So we stripped it all down, sent the head off, you know, so what we, you know. At this point, I started ringing to get the parts, and the same company, I rang and I said, hi, I've seen that you've got everything in availability 1 to 2 weeks, and I've seen that you've got the pistons that we need. I just like to put an order in, but it's not letting me do a specific size of the pistons. They said, we can't get pistons, and I was like, but your website says it does, and they said, yeah, we don't, and I was like, I think maybe you need to change that on the website then. They were like, yeah, we do need to change that. I was like, okay, well, can I just order everything else? We don't have everything else. I was like, but your website says availability 1 to 2 weeks. And they said, yeah, that's wrong. And I'm like, what? And it got to the point where they only had one thing out of everything we needed. One thing that was the oil pump. And I was like, what? And they actually laughed at me when I said I needed a part. They said, if you can get hold of that, sell it to us. And I'm like, oh my God, is this a bad decision? Have we done the wrong decision? Nonetheless, but the reason I'm telling you this is because it took 3 months to order the things we needed. 3 months, and there was some severe worries along the line that we could not get a hold of everything we needed. 4 months down the line, we have. So now I'm going to go into everything, what we've got, and everything that it cost me. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm not lucky, from doing YouTube, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that what I've got isn't that special. Doing YouTube, this has been amazing. I've been helped out with this journey incredibly, like absolutely incredibly, and I do not deserve the help that I've got with this engine. So I'm going to tell you everything that I've paid and everything that I've been helped from doing YouTube, but I just want to let you guys know, I know that I don't deserve it and it's spoiled, and huge thank you to the people who have helped. But let's get into it. Now, I actually haven't added it up yet. I've got the prices here, but I've not like made a mental note of how much it's going to be. So along the way, I'm going to add up everything that it's cost, okay? So first of all, pistons. What pistons did we go for? So our engine was that knackered. All 4 cylinders were knackered and they needed reboring, and they needed reboring up 0.1 mil over, so the engine was in bad condition. So we actually had to go with 84mm pistons. Now this was the most difficult thing, okay? Vossner didn't do them, CP didn't do them, Wiseco didn't do them. Every single brand of piston we rang said there's a 6-month wait on the pistons. And we was like, what? Now there is one single company that I found that could get them within 2 weeks. And now these didn't help me out on the price, but they helped out and without them. So thank you, Cirque Motorsport. I rang them, they had 84.5 on the website, and I was like, that's strange because you can't really overboard it by 1.5. So I rang them, and they pulled some strings and they got some 84mm pistons in for me. So huge thank you to them. So we got Supertech 84mm pistons, the only piston I could find for that engine, literally the only forged piston I could find for that engine. And they cost me £507. So that cost me £507 for the pistons. Now they rang me about 4 days later and they was like, we got some bad news. I was like, oh no, they're not gonna have them. They said, no, the pistons are there, but they don't come without the rings. And I was like, pah. And they was like, well, how much is that? I said, it's an extra 60 quid. So overall, it cost me 567 quid for the pistons. So the next thing are the head studs. Now these are the things that first company said, if you can find some, sell them to us. So there were no ARP head studs anywhere. Luckily enough, I was scouting eBay night after night after night, and there was one guy in Lithuania or Poland that had a set and he was selling them, and they were new, unboxed, and we got them for 160 quid. Lucky, I know, right? Now, the next thing, so I'm going to go over the main engine stuff first. The bearings, so we needed rod bearings and main bearings. So we actually got King's bearings, and we had to go for 0.25 oversize. Now, huge thank you to Modern Mini. You supplied the bearings and you didn't want any money for them, so you the fucking best. They're actually based in Chelmsford. They specialise in minis, but they do everything. So if you're around Essex area and you need parts or any sort of maintenance work, they're the nicest, the 2 of the nicest people I've ever met. They're John and Miriam, and they own it, and they're the nicest people ever. So they supplied the bearings. So yes, YouTube, I got away with it. The rods. So we couldn't find any K1 rods anywhere. There were none anywhere. So we went with a company called ZRP, who I believe are from Poland. Now I was actually down at BD Performance, and they rang them and got a trade account with them. And they managed to get them delivered within 3 or 4 or 5 days, and they posted straight out. Now, I believe I heard the phone call, and I think it was between £300 and £400. Darren put it through his account. He was like, "Oh, just pay me whenever." And I've been chasing him about this payment, and it sounds like he doesn't care. It sounds like he wants to help out. So again, BD Performance, they're based in Wrexham. I got the Audi done. They do everything. They specialise in Fords, but they do everything. So they helped out and they supplied the rods. And it looks like Darren, I was like, when shall I pay? He was like, pay next year or the year after or whatever. Those were his words. So again, a huge thank you to BD Performance. So I didn't have to buy them maybe, but they would have been £300 to £400. And the main bearing supplier, Modern Mini, would have been £50 for the rod bearings and £100 for the main bearings. So that's about 150 to 200 quid for those. So already I've saved about 500 or 600 quid there already. Legends. Well, that's pretty much all for the engine work. So now we go on to the machine. So the machine work, we sent the head off, and the head got totally redone, skimmed, clean, new head, all the valves were taken out, cleaned, new stem seals were put in. The head looked brand new. So they did that. We sent the block off to them, and they bored it out to 84mm. So they did that, and they found the crank was massively out of balance, so they had to grind the crank as well. So all the machine work come for the engine came to £500. So let's add that on in a minute. Okay, so now we've got the block, and the forge part. So now we need to start going into the little bits. So I managed to get a timing belt and a water pump kit off eBay. So that came, so the timing belt and water pump kit, which I got a good deal on. It came as a set on eBay. That was £110. Now the oil pump came to 114, and that was the one thing that company had in stock. And it was annoying because it didn't even come with a gasket, so I didn't get really. I wasn't that happy with this company at the start. I'm not going to lie. Next thing, our crank sprocket, which goes at the obviously the bottom of the engine where the timing belt goes around. Ours had a chip in it. Now you can get them second hand, but they come with specific washers and woodruff keys, which you need as a set. So I had to just buy them new. There was again the same company with the eBay company. They had the woodruff keys and the washers and the crocket, and that was £120. So we needed a load of different gaskets for the bottom end. So we had like that sump gasket, the rear main seal, all little shitty gaskets like that. There was a set on eBay, and there was 30 quid. We also needed a few little a lot of the gaskets you just couldn't get a hold of for this car, so we had to make our own. So we got a big roller gasket maker, and that cost us 15 quid. We needed a turbo gasket, which cost a tenner, and then we needed these little half moon gaskets for the rocker covers. Funnily enough, it didn't come in the headset, which was really weird, but we had to get 2 of those, so they were £14. Now with the head gasket, because the guy said there was a head gasket issue, the car actually came with a headset with stem seals and a load of the gaskets that we needed, well, from the head up really, and we didn't know the brand of that head gasket, but we knew the thickness of it, and every aftermarket one we looked, there was actually thinner than the one that we had, so we just put it down as it was a good head gasket, so we just used the head gasket came with the car, so we didn't actually need to buy a head gasket. We needed an oil filter, obviously, so that was £7. I shouldn't really be adding these things on, but I've just done it as much as I could. Now, the reason that the CA18s get such bad reputation is because they blow up easily because of oil starvation. They have a huge sump. Like the sump is literally like this deep, and the oil itself, it takes like less than 4 litres. From the top of my head, it's a really low oil capacity engine, and it struggles to get out the head and back down into the sump again. So that's why they blow up. So I was recommended to do a oil return mod. So it's 2 AN lines that go from the top of the head round into the sump. So we had to buy a few bungs for those. So the bungs that went onto the sump, they were 40 quid. And the bungs that would go into the head were also 40 quid. And then the lines we ran AN10 lines, and they were supplied by us by Hydro Hose, who are a hose company based in Chelmsford and Essex, and they started off doing hydraulic lines for dragsters and stuff, and they can make anything. If you need a line for anything, hydraulic, whatever, they're the geezers. So Hydro Hose supplied the lines themselves, so huge thank you to them. That's pretty much most of the engine built. So when we put it in the car, we had a few running issues. So these will probably not really apply to you, or maybe not. But we needed a new cam angle sensor and a new igniter. They were 125 quid from Neville. We needed a new cam as well. We needed a new cam, so that was 50 quid. And then we had a few bits and bobs from Neville Daly. Of a lot of things he just gave me. But honestly, Neville, thank you so much. Neville has every single part you can possibly imagine for every single Japanese car. Everything. Like, I was trying to find some things and I was like, cannot find it anywhere. Neville, yeah, I've got 6. What? But we need a lot of things of him. We need like a lot of cam covers and things. All I can find is a payment to him for £35, and I'm guessing that was for the cam covers and stuff, but a lot of stuff he's sorting me out with. So, with the labour, Rusty is a friend of mine, so he wasn't going to charge you full price anyway because he's a mate of mine, and 2, he wanted to showcase that they can do this and they can build engines really well, and it just came at a perfect time. So I would, promote their garage and show that they can do this. So we came to an agreement that if I would basically showcase his work and promote them, then he would do the labour for free, which is, I know everyone's going to say, you lucky bastard, and I am. I don't deserve it. I genuinely don't deserve that from Rusty. So if you're watching this, mate, thank you, I'm forever in your debt. I did not deserve all that labour for free. That's what he wanted to do as well. So, but I spoke to him and he said if you was coming to him as a normal customer, they would charge around about £1,000 to do that. So what I paid to get this forge done is £1,937. I was expecting it to be a lot more, and it probably is a little bit more from little things I've missed. I would probably put it between like about 2 but I was happy if it was under 3 grand, and I actually didn't think it'd be under 2 grand. But if you were going to do this as a normal customer, I'm going to just make a note of that, and then it would be an extra £600 for the parts, which I got free. So it'd be about 3.5 grand to do a full engine forge. Now granted, you might not need as much as this, or you might need more, but I paid £1,937 to get the engine gone from this to this. So that's how much it all cost. Again, huge thanks to the companies that have helped. Rusty for for doing the labour, BD for supplying the rods, Modern Mini for supplying the bearings, Neville Davis for supplying all the parts that you could just not find anywhere, which are priceless really, and also Hydro Hose for supplying the lines. But at the minute, where do we sit now? At the time of recording this video, I've not took it out on a proper drive on the road, because we just need to make it a little bit more road legal first with the bumpers and the indicators and stuff. But now it's running, it's starting, and I thought now would be a good time to do that video, and I'm sure a lot of you were very intrigued of how much it costs. So again, I'm going to stress, I'm a lucky bastard. I know I am. I don't deserve all the help that I got. I just hope that I can repay you all in some way, or luckily enough I already have, but I intend to do a lot more for the people who have helped. So thank you very much everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. I no doubt you guys think it's a lot cheaper than it would have been. So did I. I thought it'd be like 2.5, 3 grand, but it's actually less than 2. What? How does that work? I might even add it up again, because I don't know if I'm right about that. But thanks for watching everyone. Lots of things coming with the S13, trust me. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.